Scratch is arguably an object-based programming language. Sprites in the stage each have their own event handlers and can create their own procedure blocks. Sprites can have their own variables. Scratch maintains several Scratch variables for each sprite, including the XY locations, sprite size and costume number, and instrument volume. I'll talk more about this when I introduce messages between sprites and the duplication of sprites called clones. But first things first. As I've shown in earlier challenges, each sprite has its own event handlers that run command blocks when an external event happens, including when a key is pressed, the sprite is clicked on, or the green flag is clicked on. I want my first example to emphasize that sprites are individual objects, separate from each other. I want to use a new backdrop for this example. I'll go to New Backdrop, select Castle 3. I'll go to Scripts. Motion doesn't show any command blocks. That's because Stage is selected. I want the stage to do something, but first I'll need a variable. I'll go to Data, make a variable. I'll call it Message. OK. Move it down to the middle of the stage. I want to clear the message when the green flag is clicked on. I'll delete the 0. Events, green flag clicked on. Now when a green flag is clicked on, message will be empty. When the stage is clicked on, I want to change the message to From Stage. I'll run this program now. I'll click on the green flag. Message is empty. I'll click on the stage. Message has From Stage. When the cat is clicked on, I want to change message to From Cat. I'll go to the cat. When this sprite is clicked on, Data, set message to From Cat. Now when a cat is clicked on, message will be set to From Cat. I'll click on the cat. I get From Cat. I also want to display the cat's location. I'll go to Looks, get the Say command. I want to show the X and Y locations. I'll go to Operators so I can make my message. Get a join and another join. I'll go to Motion, scroll down, X position, Y position, change hello to a comma and a space. Now when I click on the cat, it shows the cat's location. I want to add a couple sprites. First I'll create a dragon, new sprite, fantasy, dragon. I'll move the dragon up here. I'll copy the cat's script, go to cat, drop it on the dragon, dragon. Instead of From Cat, I'll say From Dragon. The X and Y are from the dragon, so that'll be fine. The other sprite will be a unicorn, new sprite, fantasy, unicorn. Move the unicorn over here. I'll copy the dragon code onto the unicorn. Unicorn. Instead of dragon, say From Unicorn. When the unicorn is clicked on, message will say From Unicorn, and the unicorn will show its X and Y location. I want to be able to remove the messages. I'll go to Events. When the Q key is pressed, duplicate. I don't want to say anything. I'll make sure there's nothing in there. Delete and backspace. Now when the Q key is pressed, the unicorn will remove any message that may be showing. I'll copy it over to the dragon and copy it over to the cat. Click on the cat and the dragon. Now all three sprites will set the message and show their position when they're clicked on and remove their message when the Q key is pressed. Ready to run, I'll stop the program, start it again. Message has been cleared. Click on the cat. From cat and the cat's location. Click on the dragon. From dragon and the dragon says its location. Click on the unicorn. From unicorn and the unicorn shows its location. Next I'll press the Q key, and the Q key event handler for each of the sprites will clear the message that each sprite is showing. I'll press the key. Messages are gone. Each sprite's QKey handler cleared its message. In an earlier challenge about variables, I talked about objects and event handlers. I want to go over that some more now and emphasize objects and events instead of focusing on variables. I'll go to my diagram. The sprites in the stage are each their own objects. The stage and each of the sprites have their own event handlers. Each sprite has its own variable values. The cat's XY position is different from the dragons and the unicorns. They each have their own messages and can each clear their own messages. One press of the key causes each sprite to clear its own message. 3 event handlers are run when one Q key is pressed. As I discussed in an earlier challenge, just as each of the sprites have their own system variables, they can create their own variables using for this sprite only. Each sprite would have the variable myOwnVariable, but each myOwnVariable would be unique to each of the sprites. I hope this diagram helps show how each sprite and the stage are each their own objects. I'll return to Scratch now. I'm finished with this example. I'll uncheck Message and remove the commands from all the sprites. The cat and the unicorn. I'll remove the commands from the stage too. I want this example to have the dragon and unicorn sprites move toward each other and count the number of times they make contact. I don't want the cat sprite for this example. I'll hide it. And I'll start with the dragon. I'll make the dragon move towards the unicorn. I'll go to Events. When the green flag is clicked on, I first want the dragon to go to its location now. I'll go to Motion, Go To. This is the dragon's current location, which matches what's on the right. I want the dragon facing the unicorn. It's facing the wrong direction. I'll get Point and Direction. I'll choose left instead of right. Click on it. Okay, the dragon's facing the unicorn now, but it's upside down. I'll add that onto the green flag, and I'll need to change its rotation style. Get Set Rotation Style. The command block is left-right. Right now the dragon is acting like all around. I only need to click on Set Rotation Style. I'll click on it. Now the dragon is oriented to be only left-right. I'll attach it to the green flag. I want the dragon to move towards the unicorn. I'll go to Control, Forever. I'll need to move, Motion, Move. 10 steps will be pretty fast. I'll change it to 3, take a little longer. If the dragon were to move right now, it would move horizontally across the stage. I want it to move towards the unicorn. I'll get Point Towards. I'll have it point towards the unicorn. Now when it runs, it'll be pointing at the unicorn and moving 3 steps towards the unicorn. The dragon needs to know when it's touching the unicorn. I'll go to Sensing, Touching, Unicorn. I want to count the number of times the dragon touches the unicorn. I'll go to Control, If the dragon is touching the unicorn, I want to count it. I'll need a variable. Go to Data, make a variable, touched, unicorn, count. For this sprite only for the dragon. Okay. I'll put the dragon's count over here. I have a variable. Now I can change it by 1. I can count when it touches the unicorn. I need to start this variable with a value of 0. Set. I'll put the initialization. Count will be set to 0. Then every time it touches the unicorn, it'll change the count. Whenever it touches the unicorn, I want it to move back to its original place on the stage. I'll go to Motion, get the Go To, add it into the If. The script looks right. I'll go to Unicorn. Right now I only want the unicorn to go to this position. Go To. When the green flag is clicked on, Events, Green flag. I'll go back to Dragon. I first want to get this handler working correctly, then I'll copy it to the unicorn and change it. I'll run this now. Click on the green flag. It's going, touches, count as 1, count as 2, count as 3. That's working nicely. Well, that's good. I'll get the dragon's code and drag on to the unicorn. I'll go to unicorn. I'll need to change its script now. Get rid of the other one. Save the goto. Don't want the dragon's goto. I have the goto that's for the unicorn. I want the unicorn to point to the right. I'll keep the same rotation style left-right. The unicorn will need its own variable. I'll go to Data, make a variable, touched, dragon, count. For this sprite only, okay. Move it up. I'll change the variable counter. Touch dragon count. Touch dragon count. Need to point towards the dragon. 3 steps is good. Touching the dragon, I need to go back to my XY location. Get rid of that XY. Motion, go to. Now when the unicorn touches the dragon, it'll go back to its original position. I think the unicorn's code is ready. When I click on the green flag, the 2 sprites will start in their original positions and move toward each other. I'll start the program and watch that the counters are initialized to 0. Counters are 0. There's 1 touch, 2, 3. That was going too fast. Kept bumping into each other. Slow it down. Change it to 1 step. Go to the dragon. 1 step. Ready to run. I'll click on the green flag. That'll be easier to see. 1, 2, 3 touches. Stop the program. I only have 3 counts. The sprites made contact 3 times, but the total of the 2 counters is only 3, not 6. So only 1 sprite was seeing the contact, not both sprites. Twice the dragon saw the contact, and once the unicorn saw the contact. I have the dragon scripts up right now, but it seems to be more random as to which sprite sees the contact. When a sprite sees that it's touching the other sprite, it moves away before the other sprite can see that it's touching. So the touch is only seen by 1 sprite, not both sprites. Each sprite is its own object. Each sprite is running independently of the other, and each sprite is sensing things around it. If I delay the goto just a little bit, it could give the other sprite enough time to see that it's touching the other sprite. I'll go to Control, Wait. I'll add a very small wait. I'll try 1/100th of a second. 0.01. It's probably enough just to do the wait and give the other sprite a chance to run and see what's going on, but I'll find out. I'll go to Unicorn, add a wait for it, change 1 to 0.01 for 1/100th of a second. I'll run the program now. Counts are 0. Contact, both counts are 1. Both counts are 2. Both counts are 3. The wait allows both sprites to count the number of times they contact, but this is not an acceptable solution when both sprite objects need to know when they've made contact. I'll address this problem when I get to sending messages between sprites in later challenges. For now, I'm focused on objects and events. I'm finished with this challenge. I've shown that the stage object and sprite objects each have their own event handlers, and that sprite objects each have their own private variables and Scratch system variable values. The stage and sprites are each their own objects. I hope you'll experiment with these examples. Try adding more event handlers to the first example. Maybe have the sprites face to the left or to the right when the L or the R key is pressed, or have the sprite show a different message when some other key is pressed. Or in the last example, try having the dragon breathe fire for a little bit when it detects it's touched the unicorn. You'll want to change the dragon's costume. Or try having each sprite maintain a count of the highest number of steps between the times it detected touching the other sprite. But above all, have fun with the challenge.